Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah Martin with The Contoured Chemist. Today we're talking all things BB, CC, skin tints, tinted moisturizers, foundation. What's the difference? Can it replace your SPF? Should you be using it under your Seint? All of these things that I've been seeing a lot pop up lately. Skincare and makeup, all of the things. I'm gonna touch on all of it today, kind of the best and worst ways to use these types of products. So if you wanna check it out, please keep watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video, and thanks for being here. Hi friends, all right guys. Spring is finally here. The weather is starting to get warmer. I feel like people are itching to wear less product on their face, maybe multitask as much as possible, get out the door faster, all of those things. We're gonna kind of touch on some things that you might not know. What is marketing? What can you trust? Let's just set the record straight today, all right? So let's talk BB cream. I swear every other day there's a new BB cream on the market. Do you know the difference between a BB cream, a skin tint, a tinted moisturizer, a tinted SPF, foundation? They're kind of all over the place, and I'll be honest, right now in the beauty industry, it's a lot harder to tell the difference between the two. Let's back it up a little bit. When I was doing some research, it's funny that how contradicting things were online about what has the most coverage, what has the least. It was kind of crazy because I'm like, no one knows. It's kind of like a mishmash, right? So it all started that a tinted moisturizer was just some color, some pigment added to a moisturizer. Its purpose was to moisturize your skin and maybe give you a very sheer wash of color, kind of lightly even you out. Not much coverage, sheer, right? Then stepped in BB creams. BB creams have been around. They started in Korea in the 80s. They are shortened for blemish balms or beauty balms, right? So they're supposed to be a tinted moisturizer with skincare added, kind of like the best of both worlds, right? And Western culture kind of caught on, and then CC creams came out, which were supposed to be color correctors. We're supposed to have more coverage, more designed to correct the skin, but not give good coverage on things like acne marks, blemishes, under eye circles, or anything like that. Now you see a lot of skin tints. Skin tints are kind of one more level. They're more in the foundation category, but I feel like they blur a lot of lines. So foundation nowadays, you can get everything from full coverage to very sheer coverage that might mimic a tinted moisturizer. You just don't know. You got to pay attention to the formulation because all formulations are very different. And I feel like the same goes with that skin tint. They're supposed to be sheer coverage. Again, now you see all of these things with SPF in them. And I get it because we run busy lives. We want to be able to one and done, throw something on our skin, run out the door. But is it marketing or is it truly a one and done product? That's what I wanted to touch on today. Because if you truly look at the number one issue when it comes to SPF protection, it is that people aren't applying it properly. And you guys know me, I have the scar to prove it. I had melanoma It is one of those things that I am very adamant about now that I pay attention to my skincare and I'm trying to age gracefully, and I have years and years of sun damage. There's no purpose for me to be using all of these skincare products to help my skin if I'm not gonna protect it from the sun. 80% of skin aging is from sun. Obviously, all skin cancer is due to UV exposure. So the number one thing is wear your sunscreen every day. And I've been talking about that for years. But if you truly look at it, the number one issue with people who actually are applying protection is that they think they're protected because they're using an all-in-one product, but they're not applying enough to get the SPF that's on the bottle. So one of the things I wanted to share with you guys was we're just gonna test one. When you have a product that has color in it and you think you can skip your SPF step, how much of this product are you actually applying to your face? And are you gonna get the SPF on the label? So many people grab, oh, I want an all-in-one. I get asked almost every day, can you recommend a BB cream with SPF? Can you recommend an SPF, a tinted SPF? Now, a tinted sunscreen is very different than a tinted moisturizer. Ulta MD has an amazing tinted sunscreen. Unfortunately, it's got silicones in it, so I don't recommend it if you're a Seint wearer, but this as well. This was a very popular tinted moisturizer. It doesn't come in other colors, it's just one color. It can kind of even out the skin, but it is just mainly for hydration, sheer wash of color. Now, these new skin tints that are coming out that have added SPF make people feel like they can get their SPF protection, they can even out their skin all in one product. And I find them extremely misleading. So, how much of this do you actually need to get this SPF, which this one I probably wouldn't recommend as a sunscreen anyway because it's SPF 35. That gives margin of error because no one covers their face perfectly to get the SPF on the bottle. But it's estimated that most people get quarter to half of what's on the bottle because that's how little people are applying. So what's recommended just for the face is 1/4 of a teaspoon. Face and neck, 1/2 of a teaspoon. This is why it's so important to find an SPF formula you like. If you've ever used a mineral sunscreen that just gives you this white ghost-like cast, this is why they started adding a tint into sunscreens, because it kind of helps that white cast. So there's nothing wrong with a tinted SPF. It can actually help that white cast. But when you're going into a skin tint that just is like, oh, it's got an added SPF, what a great bonus, I don't have to use my SPF, that's the wrong mentality. So we're gonna see how many pumps it takes of this product to actually give me 1/4 of a teaspoon. And this is gonna be just for face because I don't typically apply this. I don't typically apply makeup to my neck unless it's just a little bit of bronzer. But just think how much this would be if you doubled it. Okay, so I've got 1/4 of a teaspoon. I don't even know, I forgot to keep counting. Okay, and this is just 35. There are definitely ones out there with more, but this is the one I had that is silicone free. And I'll talk about that more in a second. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this out. Oh my gosh, I can already tell this is gonna be really freaking bad. This is why, please don't ask me for a foundation recommendation with SPF in it. Do not get SPF from foundation. Who applies this much product to their face? Face only. for the sake of science, I'm gonna try to show you this. Oh gosh. Holy moly. Do you see why people applied less? This is like straight up peanut butter. I mean, I don't even think any amount of blending could ever get this to work on my face. And that was just face recommendations. Can you imagine if I doubled that for my neck? All this to say, do not rely on an SPF on a bottle of anything tinted, okay? I can't. Sorry guys. I was like, I can try to rub this in. No, I really don't think I can. Use a separate SPF. Nothing in any tinted sunscreen, moisturizer, skin tint, foundation will ever give you adequate protection. Now, pause while I go wash my face. That was legit. Felt so disgusting, you guys. Now that it's like in my hair and all over. Okay, I washed my face real quick. Let's just pick a sunscreen as the last step. I don't even like a moisturizer with SPF. I feel like, again, it leads you to not applying enough product. So if you have to, grab a measuring spoon and for the first time, measure it and then measure it out on your fingers. So they say for thicker type sunscreen products, 2 finger lengths. Thinner ones like the glow screen I typically use, 3 finger lengths. So I'm gonna use this one, is a new silicone-free one I've been testing. If you love a good moisturized base, I feel like this is very hydrating. You don't need you don't need a moisturizer plus this as your SPF. It's great. It's called Weightless Hydration Face. It's by Hawaiian Tropic. You can legit get it at the drugstore. It's like $10. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure out. It's about 2 pumps is 1/4. Okay. If you want to then put it on your fingers to see, this one's so thick, it's hard to get out. So then if you know how many pumps it is, if it's got a pump top like that, it's pretty easy because then you can just make sure you pump out that amount every time. But it's about 2 fingers of a thicker lotion, okay? Just make sure you apply enough. And that is designed that way so that you're getting the label, whatever the sunscreen number is on the bottle. And again, I measured out just face. This is why those that are really high in mineral contents, the zinc, this is why it's sometimes hard for people to wear those because they are so white and thick that people don't want. Look how much that it absorbs so nicely. It feels like a really great moisturizer in my opinion. But if you don't like the thick white cast, there's nothing wrong with chemical sunscreens unless you just have an allergy. There's no reason why you shouldn't. So eyelids, under the eyes, don't skip anything because that needs to be protected too. I feel like I've got it all over me from trying to measure it out. And obviously, I normally apply more for the neck, at least the front of your neck. I'll do so it kind of matches. Okay, if you are a fellow Seint wearer, I will put my favorites down below that are silicone free. Now, give that adequate time to soak into the skin. I usually say about 15, 20 minutes. Then you can go in with your Seint makeup or whatever you want, okay? I understand there are days where you want no makeup days. You want a really like just evening of your skin tone, just kind of like light sheer coverage. That is when I think these really play a great role. These are designed to hydrate the skin. Now that you guys know my pet peeves with sunscreen in products like this one is not marketed as having SPF in it. Even though I can see from the ingredients label, it does have zinc and titanium dioxide, I appreciate the fact it's not marketed as an SPF. That being said, it is marketed as a BB cream. BB creams are marketed as skincare. I'll put this quote up by Dr. Dennis Gross because this is like marketed as makeup for skincare freaks. Here is my take as a chemist. I also have a degree in biology. I understand a little bit about skin, right? That makeup is formulated in a way that this is going to sit more on top of the skin, right? Pigments, they stay on top. You don't want that pigment going deep into your skin, right? It's just not designed, makeup is not designed to penetrate the skin. But we start putting all this ingredients in it, skincare that needs to penetrate the skin. It doesn't make much sense that you think you're gonna get the benefits of skincare from a makeup product. To me, logically, they're two completely different things. You want skincare to go deep in the skin. You want makeup to sit on top of the skin. You don't want that to go in your pores and clog them, right? So can you get some skin benefits from a product like this? When it comes to skin benefits, I would take it with a grain of salt. Hydrating properties, I think, can work, mainly because this sits on top of the skin. There are things that don't penetrate the skin that can hydrate the skin. Things that are occlusive, that hold water into the skin. Some hyaluronic acid or glycerin-based products can help hydrate. But know that not all of those ingredients are gonna go into the skin. You're gonna get very minimal. It's kind of like when there's an SPF in it. Think of it as a bonus. Do not think of it as your only SPF. If you're truly wanting to get results from skincare, you're not gonna use this every day and expect to see skincare results. It's just not going to do enough. It can be a bonus, but think that it's just gonna be very minimal. Some of those molecules will maybe penetrate, but it's not like putting a concentrated serum onto your skin and letting that absorb when most of this is gonna be sitting on the surface. Does that make sense? So the whole skincare infused makeup, I find to be 99% marketing and misleading because it sounds good in theory, right? Oh yeah, I'm gonna get skincare from my makeup. Are you though? Really? It doesn't work that way. Science doesn't work that way. It's simplifying something because a lot of times you're also misled by saying 60% of what you put on your skin will go in your bloodstream. So if I put hand sanitizer on my hands, which is all alcohol, I'm going to get drunk because it's in my bloodstream? No, skin is designed to keep things out. And the technology that cosmetic chemists have to do and encapsulate in all of these things to get skincare to actually penetrate the skin is on a whole nother level that people don't understand. So this is makeup. It's designed to sit on top. It's gonna be very, 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 very minimal, if anything, a skincare product. skincare products are not the same as makeup products. Whether the marketing makes it sound like the best multitasking product ever, because I'm gonna get my skincare, I'm gonna get added skincare and added SPF, take them as a bonus. Do not believe all the marketing claims. Unfortunately, they're trying to sell you a product. It is what it is. Now, that does not mean that there's not a place for these. In my opinion, they're amazing for no makeup days. I'm gonna throw it on with my fingers. I'm gonna get hydration because this can help hold in my skincare regimen from that morning. But this is not my only skincare regimen. I will never wash my face and put this straight on and think I'm gonna get any, you'll probably look pretty dry by the end of the day. It's not gonna sit well even, might not even last. So let's apply these. I'm gonna do one on each half of the face so you can see. This one's marketed as a BB cream. I did my research. Both of these are silicone free. I will be honest, there's not a lot on the market that are silicone free. Most BB creams have a lot of silicones in them. They're kind of designed for more oily type skin, especially CC creams. CC creams they say BB creams are best for like normal to dry skin because they're more hydrating. CC creams are better for oily skin. They have more silicones in them to kind of control that oil production. Both of these are this is considered a BB cream. This is considered a tinted moisturizer. It's called slip tint. It's more of a skin tint. Now, both of these also come in a wide variety of shades so that you have to actually pick the right color. This is a tinted moisturizer that's a universal shade. It gives even less coverage. When you have to pick an actual color, this is medium tan warm, you have to color match yourself. That comes into a different degree. And then I'm wearing 4.5 in the slip tint. I can't even talk. Let's see how much product it actually takes for me to get kind of that coverage that I'm looking for. So 1 pump here. Now this is marketed as buildable and moisturizing. Okay, so there's 1 pump. I'm gonna try 1 more pump. That might be too much. Again, a lot less than all the pumps I did before, but I might have to bring this down my neck because you can tell it's kind of thick. Okay, I'm trying to keep this right down the middle so you guys can see the comparison. It's not really sitting too great in some areas. Other option is putting it on with a brush. Although I find the whole kind of purpose of a BB cream is so that you can kind of slap it on quickly. And use your fingers and not have to worry so much about blending. Okay, so that was 2 pumps of the Kosas BB Burst. Say slip tint. Here's 1 pump. Okay, I'm gonna try to use the brush on this side and see if it helps, because I feel like this is thicker. Doesn't feel quite so hydrating as the BB Burst. I feel like it's like accumulating in my eyebrow. That's a lot. I probably did not need that much product of either. So obviously they're kind of designed that they're going to be really hydrating. You can kind of tell how nice and glowy. I feel like it's rare to find a very matte formulation of this type of product. You would almost have to go into a foundation that has different formulations, that some could be maybe more better for oily prone skin. These are, since they're both more like a moisturizer, they're giving a pretty dewy look. But I feel like for a sheer wash of color, kind of evens out the skin tone, this is great for the beach, obviously over my SPF, right? Gonna keep me kind of hydrated. You can easily kind of tone down shine if you want, if you don't want that super dewy look. Now, I've been seeing a lot on social media of those wearing it for increased coverage under their Seint or for better longevity. I can tell you, if you're having to put a BB cream or a tinted moisturizer under your Seint just to get it to last, number one, you're not color matched correctly, because it shouldn't make a difference as long as you have the right colors. Number two, most of them that I've seen are silicone based. You have to check your ingredients, or that could be part of your problem. Like you put something like that down, Seint's just gonna slip right off and fade. So if you're having to load up on powder to get good longevity, you're gonna have to really like set it in place to get good longevity. You probably have a silicone. This has silicone in it. I've checked, these don't, okay? So both of these are approved for if you wanna put on a little bit to kind of even out your skin tone, and then you can go in with maybe some more coverage where you need it. Blush, bronzer, or just throw on this and just bronze. That's typically what I would do. If I didn't want to wear a full face of foundation to like the pool, I would just put on one of these and a little bronzer and call it good to go. So that's what I'm going to show you today. If you're putting one of these on and then still putting a full face of Seint under it, I don't understand the purpose, because if you're looking for something like this that's going to get really good coverage, that's a foundation. Like that's a foundation. Just wear a foundation. There's no purpose to putting this on and then putting all over a full face of Seint. You're just layering foundation over foundation. If you're not getting good enough coverage from your Seint alone, you probably just need a color corrector. So it can be pretty simple, but let's go ahead and finish this face. If I just wanted the most natural pool-like look. Now, I typically have some depth, right? This might correct some superficial redness. You can tell it doesn't really color correct hyperpigmentation, but you could easily just kind of add a little bit of correction on those areas that you want more coverage. So I have some dark points. I'm just gonna use my same color corrector, and I'm just gonna press on a little bit anywhere I need more coverage. Now, if you see really deep redness already peeking through, it's not gonna give you enough coverage. You can just go in with a little bit right where you need it. And just treat that like it was a moisturizer. If it just, evened you out a little bit, it can really help, like me around the mouth area where I happen to be lighter. I don't have to tone around my eyes because it already kind of toned my entire face. Does that make sense? Dark spots, dark inner corners where a tinted moisturizer might not really give great coverage on. Under eye circles, you might be able to get away with using less product though. And in the summer, when it's really hot and humid, if you live where I do, that's a good thing. Now, if you're naturally still darker on areas like I am, and it's like still standing out, you can definitely just take a little bit of a shade and kind of help lighten. Takes 2 seconds. I literally added a touch in my inner corners, around my broken capillaries, and on my dark spot, okay? This is not a full face. There's no need when you have something like this. It's great for those no makeup, natural looking days, not necessarily full coverage days. I don't find it necessary. I am gonna go ahead and tone down a little of the shine, which is mainly I'm going to set under my eyes because I don't want that to crease. Now, this is one method that eliminates the perfector because I only put it in a couple of key places. Now, this type of moisturizer BB cream is going to give you a very glowy look. So if that's not what you want, you can still set anywhere you want to tone down a little bit of that shine. And since this is going to be a very natural, no makeup look, I'm not contouring. I am bronzing it up. So I've got my Heat Waves, Glow Illuminator, and Bella, and I like to put them next to each other so I can just hit anywhere the sun hits first. Forehead. Since I'm not contouring, this is what's gonna add that dimension to my face. See how flat it is? Strategically add to the cheekbones and give yourself a little bit of that dimension by just being a little bit strategic with how you apply your bronzer. This is definitely not a full coverage look, so once you apply that, if that moved anything, you can spot cover. I got a blemish here and here. Multitasker, your best friend. A little bit of lip and cheek. This is Tropicana. And tap it on so you don't move any product underneath. Brows. And one color eyeshadow, just a little bit of Bubba. And there you go. Really natural, definitely a glowy look. Can you tell the difference between the sides? We got both sides. I'm gonna see which one wears the best during the day because I honestly cannot tell a difference in coverage at all. Even the finish looks almost identical. Tell me, you have a favorite side? I feel like they're very similar. There you go. There's how you can actually use a BB cream, tinted moisturizer, skin tint, whatever you want to call it, under your Seint in the most efficient way. Be careful because the color of this will matter. It can change your colors of your Seint, to be honest. So even like you notice, I didn't brighten at all because it doesn't matter. Like if I was to put a lighter color under my eyes, it would show texture because it's gonna be on top of a darker color, right? So I was very strategic. I only used a little bit of a color corrector, a touch of my main shade. The purpose of using one of these is to just make application really fast and easy. And if you can find one that matches you well, it can reduce the amount of time for a very simple look. Now, I am not saying this will wear as long as my Seint full face natural look. It does not give the same coverage, and I'll show you after a few hours what it looks like as far as longevity. So there you go, a few truth bombs about SPF and products, about skincare and products. In my opinion, marketing in the beauty industry has gotten very out of hand. There is a lot of misinformation, especially in the days of TikTok, Instagram Reels, because misinformation gets more views. So if you have a question about anything along those lines that I can help answer for you, drop them in the comments. I definitely feel like there are a ton of other things I could touch on the subject. Sunscreen is my BFF. I learned my lesson the hard way. I now wear it every day, whether I'm leaving the house or not. I love to hear when I've inspired someone to start wearing SPF every day. So I hope this can help those of you that are wearing it and maybe falsely thinking you're fully protected. The more we know, right? So grab yourself a sunscreen you don't mind applying every day. If you love a tinted moisturizer with sunscreen because you love the hydration, just find a sunscreen that is hydrating. Sunscreen is also your moisturizer. You don't need two. Every ingredient in this bottle is also what you'll find in a moisturizer, right? But it has protection. Find one you can apply the right amount every day and blends well on you, that you don't mind wearing, that doesn't burn your eyes so you can put it on your eyelids, all of those things to get 100% protection. And grab these bad boys on those really quick, no makeup, natural days. They definitely have the place. That's why they're so popular. I hope that was helpful. I will link everything I talked about down in the description below the video. If you're needing help with Seint, if you have a product like this you love and you feel like it's changing your color match and you want to try to use it in the way I showed, you have questions on how you can use it and what shade you can use with it without having to apply it all over, because that's defeating the purpose, reach out to me. Send me what you have, send me what you're looking for. My color match request is in the drop box below the video, as well as the pinned comment. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you get the results you want from your makeup. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Love you.